Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. It's meteorologist Brad Panovich for SkiSoutheast.com. We're getting ready for the weekend and some good news after what's been a very soggy and somewhat warm pattern here for the last week. As expected, we're going to see a change this weekend going into the holiday weekend, which is really this weekend because, with Christmas Eve and Christmas on Monday and Tuesday, we're seeing a colder pattern. And yes, there is snow in the forecast this weekend. So if you had a trip planned for the holiday, you timed it out just perfectly. Now, let me show you the storm system. It doesn't look impressive now on the satellite and radar. You see this big storm system. There's a lot of rain with it. But what's going to happen tonight into early Saturday, cold air is going to move in on the backside of this system, and we're going to see cold air move back into the mountains of the southeast, and that cold air moving into the mountains of the southeast is going to set the stage for some snow. In fact, there's going to be some pretty significant accumulation. Let me show you the model guidance on that. All right, let's get right to the guidance. So here's the short range modeling showing how the system's going to evolve. And you see it's mostly rain today on Friday, but notice late tonight we start to see a changeover to snow in the North Carolina mountains. And this is going to be later today as that cold air starts to filter in. And this could be a burst of real heavy snow moving into the North Carolina mountains. Now, it takes a little bit longer to move up into West Virginia, but you could see by this evening, this is about 7 p.m. Look at that. That is a nice burst of snow here across the southeast, and this will be heavy snow, so it's going to come down fast and furious. Then on the back side of this system, as the low moves away, you can see the setup here. We get into that very strong northwest flow. This is a strong low pressure system. The pressure with it is almost as low as Michael was when it was over the southeast. So the northwest flow, I think, is being underplayed a little bit in the guidance because this is a strong kind of nor'easter type storm, and you could see that flow on the backside. I mean, there's snow through the Alleghenies down into North Carolina. This is going into the overnight hours into Saturday morning, and it might linger for Saturday. So you could see some of these accumulations here in West Virginia and North Carolina could be pretty prolific. The northwest flow snow looks like it lasts, and again, the guidance always underplays this, all the way into Saturday night. Then we've got another system approaching from the west. This is kind of a fast moving system. Not a lot of moisture with it, but there is more cold air with it. It moves towards the mountains Sunday night, and it likely could be another wintry mix. So there's going to be additional accumulation associated with this system. Let me show you the amount of snow I think we're going to see, and this is based on the 50 percentile, which is basically taking the mean of the models. Some of the models are much higher, some are much lower, but you can see this. If you look carefully up in West Virginia, there's a lot of purple showing up there. You're talking about maybe 8, 9, 10 inches of snow. And even in North Carolina, you're looking at a solid 2 to 4 inches of snow possible in many of the highest elevations. And if that northwest flow overproduces, which it often does in these strong lows, I could see these totals go higher. But this is going to be a nice big burst of snow moving in for tonight into Saturday, really setting the stage for a pretty good pattern right before Christmas. In fact, if I show you my ski forecast for the upcoming weekend, you can see I have natural snow in the forecast both Saturday and Sunday for all of the southeast, but I even think maybe on Sunday we could see additional snow up in West Virginia and maybe in here. And even though it's not super cold, there's potential, at least at night, I think every night through Christmas, for snowmaking operations. So pretty good little setup here considering how warm and wet it's been, and the timing could not be more perfect for the upcoming holiday. So if you had plans this weekend to go to the mountains, you timed it out pretty good. Sure, we melted a bunch of snow and it rained a bunch, but this is the kind of way it goes in the southeast. We got blessed with some early season snow and cold. We go to a warm, wet pattern, and now we're back to cold right for the holidays. Now, let's talk about the long range, which I'm sure a lot of you have started to hear about the polar vortex. Now, remember, the polar vortex is around every single year. It's nothing new. It's not rare. What we look for and what you're hearing about and I'll tell you a little bit about is we start looking for weakening of the polar vortex. When the polar vortex shows signs of weakening, that typically means cold air is going to spill south. We look for these events where there's warming in the stratosphere. They're called sudden stratospheric warming events. There's about a 2-week delay from when that happens to when cold air starts to spill south. So that looks like it's happening now. So 2 weeks from now, which is going to put us into early January, somewhere is going to get a blast of cold air. So this is after Christmas. You can see over the pole, the polar vortex looks like it splits. We've got a piece here, and maybe something over here in Siberia. But it gets disjointed, which means cold air is going to be pushing south somewhere. And it looks like a pretty good chance some of that's going to come into North America. Now, I think initially this is going to go mainly into Canada and the western U.S., but that's good for us because that lays the groundwork for cold air to move east. And if you look at this time frame after Christmas, it looks like it warms up again right around the 27th, 28th, 29th. But that's only because such cold air is digging into the western U.S., and we're going to start to see that push to the east. So there is going to be another significant warm up. I'm going to caution you right now after Christmas here in the southeast, but it might pay off in the long term as the cold air rebuilds and pushes to the southeast. So you're hearing about the polar vortex. Don't get too excited right now. We're likely going to see a big warm up before the cold air comes back. So if you have the weekend plans to go skiing, you timed it out perfectly. Enjoy the holiday, everybody. I hope you have a great, great Christmas, and I'll post updates throughout next week as well, getting you ready for the new year. Merry Christmas, and think snow.